Welcome to another edition of the Mael Time Podcast. I am joined today by Ilay David, brother of Evyatar David, who survived 737 or 738 days in captivity in Gaza. Ilay, thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me, Daniel. I'm so glad
So-
to be here.
Yeah, this is the third time, and now we're talking about good things because your brother is home. And I felt like I reached out to you asking just to kind of put a bookend on the conversations we've been having. I want to get to your brother, but first, how are you doing?
It's like a big stone, a rock, was sitting on my chest, very heavy one for so long, and now it's gone, and anxiety is gone, and I need to get used to it. I mean, I woke up today at my parents' home, and automatically I was like going into anxiety mode, and then I realized, wait, my brother is on the next door, he's here. So I'm still getting used to the new situation, which is, kind of old. It's an old new situation. So it's gonna take time. I give it's gonna take time till anxiety is completely out and new things will flow in. But I'm grateful, to be honest. Right now, that's the main thing.
Describe for the audience what it was like when you woke up that Monday morning that your brother was going to be released, or did you even sleep?
I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do. It was peak anxiety because I did not believe that Hamas is going to release my brother. I knew that Evyatar is going to be one of the last to be released, if at all. And I was sure they're gonna do something with him, that they're gonna do a trick, something that, I don't know. I was thinking about very dark things, like they will blow up the hostages in the last moment or something. I mean, what their interest to release the hostages? It was, I think we witnessed miracles that day, actually miracles. And only when I saw him, I realized, okay, it's over. And I lost my voice. Now, for real, true story. My voice disappeared for a whole week. On the second I saw him and started crying, I lost my voice. I couldn't speak, only whisper. And it took a whole week to to regain my voice.
You have been going around for 2 years lobbying for your brother's release and making sure people knew his story and were able to know his name and his face. Did your brother see any of the things that you put out while he was in captivity?
Almost none. He had one chance 8 months ago, when the January, February deal took place. There was a ceasefire, and the terrorists showed Evyatar and his fellow hostage guy. They showed them some media, and then they saw a picture of me and Guy's brother in a newspaper front page. And then they understood, okay, they're fine. But he was, it was the only sign of life he got from us. He never saw anything else, and it's crazy.
Your brother was part of 2 pretty intense propaganda campaigns from Hamas. The first being when they brought him to the release of other hostages. I believe it was Omer Shem Tov, if I'm not mistaken. And the second time, obviously, he was forced to dig his own grave.
Yes.
From what you've spoken to your brother, what can you tell us about what those experiences were like for him?
The first propaganda video, the main thing they were focused on, Evyatar and Guy, his fellow friend, they were fascinated by the production. They saw how much effort the terrorists are putting into this, and they were shocked. This van they were sitting on, with the fresh seats and the microphones and the most expensive cameras. They were.
Did they
like,
think that they were going to be released?
As I understand, they didn't believe. They didn't believe. They got different clothes. They kind of understood that they're not going to be released. So, and there's also, Evyatar told me a week before he got released, nobody told him that he's going to be released, but he felt like he knew something's different. He felt it from his captors. So, I think he didn't really believe that he's going. And something actually gave him to see the sun, to feel the air outside of the tunnel. He was in that tunnel for 8 months straight, since he got in June 2024. He was sent into that tunnel, and in February 2025, he got out for the first time only to breathe fresh air and feel the sun. So it was very unique for him. And on the second experience, 2 months prior to this video, he was going into severe starvation. Him and also Guy with him, they understood that they are going to be starved. The terrorists didn't tell them why, because Evyatar and Guy, they were used to be starved deliberately, but it got to the extreme, and they had to tell to themselves that there is a goal, and eventually that they will not die from hunger. And when this video took place, Evyatar, he tells me that on the same day, he doesn't know why, but he woke up with good feeling. He doesn't know why. I asked him, why? I mean, what in the hell? And he was like, I don't know. I just got up that day with good feeling. And he understood he's taking part in some kind of propaganda. They told him what to do, what to say. Of course, we weren't surprised as well. But he didn't really got into him, what they did to him that day. And the next week, they showed him the video. They said, Inta mashhur, you're famous, in Arabic. And then he understood that he's probably made an impact. And it was also the first time he saw how fragile he is, because he couldn't look at himself. He
hadn't seen a mirror, right?
No, he saw Guy. Guy was frail as well, but he never looked at himself. And it was the first time when he showed him the video, the first time he saw, and he was shocked. He was completely shocked. He was, oh my God. He was so thin. He told me that he could wrap his ankle with his fingers easily. And he was really shocked, and it took him time to understand in what situation he is. But for him, it was only another stage, because he was deliberately starved.
And after this video, did he get more food?
Yes. Our main concern was that he will be starved to death, or worse, that he would be fed in a wrong way after severe starvation, and then he will die.
Right?
Yes, that was our main concern, but probably the terrorists understand that, and they planned all of this. They planned how much food they'll give him prior to the video and after the video, so he will be still alive and functioning. And probably that's what they did. They didn't see a doctor. They didn't get any vitamins or anything else. They just knew how to feed him properly.
Few questions, kind of not rapid fire, but just for those who haven't followed every single detail. There have been, thank God, 20 living hostages that were released. Did the Red Cross visit your brother at all during his captivity?
Never.
Not once.
Not
Did
once, never.
your brother see Yehia Sinwar in person at all?
No, no. He did saw, as I understand, he did saw one senior in Hamas, but that's it. Most of the time, he was held with the lowest of ranks of terrorists, the diggers. They all dig all the time. They dig tunnels all around themselves. And they told me that, Evyatar told me that they knew what time it is because they understood in which times the terrorists are digging. So it gave them the sense of day and night because in the tunnels
Also praying,
underground.
probably, I'm guessing.
Yes, it's exactly it's a mixture of the prayers and the walking time, the digging times.
There was major concern about hostages being killed by IDF fire and bombing. Today was, of course, the funeral of Yassi Sharabi, who was killed in Hamas captivity when he was struck by an IAF bomb next to Noah Argamani.
Yes.
Was your brother ever in close proximity to either fire from the IDF directed toward him or from the air or from the ground?
He was never directed by fire, but he felt it when he was above ground for the first 8 months, which is a huge amount of time. He was always in a danger zone. They were moving from one place to the other. The terrorists moved them all the time. And they were in constant fear. And the noise is just, it's crazy. The noise is, he told me that more than fear, the noise was driving him crazy. And in some kind of twisted way, when they were sent underground, they felt more safe.
Right.
They felt more safe.
Did your brother meet any person in Gaza who expressed any sympathy toward him or toward Israelis?
Almost none. The only time I understand he felt something different is when he met with a senior, because the seniors are more religious. That's what the by the way, other hostages, released hostages, told me that the more senior religious people of Hamas, they understood better the situation. They were treating the hostages better. So, and it's also, you can see this by different hostages that were held by different groups. I don't know if I mean, we should actually understand if there is a connection between the level of religious to how the hostages were treated. I think it's fascinating to understand what was the function of religion here. But that's it. I mean, most of the time he was abused physically, mentally.
Because one of the questions people are asking is, you have people like Oskar Schindler in the Holocaust that are out there are risking their own lives, trying to save innocent people. And the question is there a Palestinian Oskar Schindler? Did anybody say, okay, I know you're in this house, let me go give you an extra meal because I feel bad for you? It doesn't seem like that's the case.
As I understand, it's not the case. But we should wait for Evyatar to tell his own story and then.
Absolutely. I want, of course, he's always invited here. I'd love to talk to him, but he just got out of a tunnel, so I'm not going to run and make crazy requests. But this is the invitation. Of course, he has an open invitation.
You're not Israeli media. Appreciate it.
Are you getting harassed right now?
Yeah,
kind
of.
Sure. Listen, and I think it's also it's very strange because on one hand, everyone feels they're connected because these are names and faces and stories that we've so much bonded with and cared about. And on the other hand, of course, someone needs to recover emotionally, and there is no one way to recover emotionally, but for some people, going on the media might be a good way, and for some, it might not be a good way. So, of course, invitation is open, but Bli lachatz, as they say, no pressure.
Thank you.
You and your family obviously now have 2 years of diplomatic experience in some ways. What was the biggest mistake you made in this 2-year odyssey?
Wow, good question. The biggest mistake, I think I cannot now recall for one situation, but every time we felt in our hearts that we are doing something for someone else and not because our inner voice told us to do so, we felt that we are doing something wrong. And we felt like maybe we can somehow damage Evyatar. And that was our nightmare, to damage him, to damage his situation. I know we did many things that were not necessarily effective, but I would do the same. I mean, I would do everything the same because we try to be everywhere. We tried also to be very precise, but we knew that we cannot be precise all the time. So again, I think that the thing of listening to ourselves, to be able to tell ourselves a story that we are doing whatever we can and listening to what Evyatar would do, to what we are trying to be most honest with, that was key.
I'll say, as an observer, I really appreciated the way in which you approached the issue, in the sense that you were trying to call attention to it, but you weren't overly antagonizing toward different groups. It's important, right? As Trump and Steve Witkoff helped bring this agreement forward, Jared Kushner, it's important for people to remember that they were not in positions of power when this entire ordeal started. And so many of the people that were out there screaming and cursing the Israeli government, and I have plenty of criticism for the Israeli government. This is not to say that everybody gets off scot-free. There's something to be said about, could a deal like this have been accomplished with a Biden White House or a Kamala Harris White House? And for all the screaming and yelling, what was the best way to get to an agreement like this? I think it's worth considering. And the way that your family did it was certainly unique, and that you were understanding that both the IDF and the Israeli government were trying whatever they could to get all of the hostages out at once. It's not as simple. It's not like it was all in their hands. As an observer, I don't think that Israel and the IDF could have done it without President Trump, quite simply.
100%.
So I think that there's something very unifying about the message that your family brought forth. One sec.
No problem.
No, there's something unifying about it, and I think that it's you guys should be very much commended for it. What was that interaction like when your brother met Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner?
So he didn't met them. We preferred to stay in the hospital. Evyatar was in a very fragile state. He came back very, very frail. Evyatar was kidnapped, 80 kilos, which are like 240 pounds, I think.
No, it's 176 pounds. I just looked it up.
Okay, sorry, I'm not very good at pounds.
It's okay.
And he returned 56 kilos.
123 pounds. How tall is he?
He's 1.75 meters, which are.
So he's 5 feet 9 inches, and he was weighing 176 pounds, and he returned 123 pounds. He's a Holocaust survivor.
Yes, very much. And so we felt that it's not the right time, not because we're not grateful enough, because we are super grateful, and I'm sure we'll have the next opportunity. Evyatar would really want to express that. and they are, to be honest, they are. I think that they made a change. As I said before, without President Trump and his team, probably the hostages were still be in Gaza, stuck in the towers.
It's a scary thing to think about if there was a different administration, because I think that the way in which Israel and America were able to appear as having common interests and working together and being strong and united and exerting force, and there actually being a consequence, really helped push this. And it's very scary to think about what would happen if that was not the case. And it's, thank God, God has a plan. Everything happens for a reason, and this is how things turned out. What's your family's next steps in terms of are you trying to stay away from the limelight? Are you trying to go on vacation? What's going on?
I'm trying to take a step back now. I'm not giving interviews at all. You're the first interview I give since Evyatar got back home, because I kind of hate it in some ways. I hated to be Evyatar's, who's a hostage brother. I hated to be a hostage brother, and now I'm so glad to be just myself and the brother of a released hostage. But now it's his. If he wants to speak, it's his spotlight. It's not my spotlight anymore. That's why I lost my voice on the second I
So
saw
you're saying it was God speaking to you, literally taking your voice, because you no longer have it, and it's Evyatar's to take back. I want to push back on you for 1 second. Of course, it's Evyatar's story to tell about his time in captivity and his survival and his resilience, and there should probably be movies made about every single hostage that wants to tell their story individually.
Totally.
What I will tell you is that, as someone who observed this day in, day out, you did a uniquely amazing job of pushing the issue forward, of addressing the UN, of speaking to leaders in America, speaking to leaders in Israel, and not being antagonistic and actually being a unifier. So I'm not letting you off the hook when it comes to a voice. I think that it's important that there are more people who can unify and bring people around common issue without being antagonistic. I think that's something that's extremely special, and you deserve to be commended for that. It's not easily done, because it's very, of course, when you sit there and you see, you're talking to many of the leaders who are responsible for what happened, it's hard to keep your head on straight, and it's hard to not get political or to just scream at them. So you have an ability to actually bring people together and unify people beyond whether someone's in the Tikva forum or the hostage forum or whatever it might be. You really did bring people together. So I do think you deserve credit for that, and I hope that you do something with it.
I think those 2 years, they didn't just disappear. We have this extreme experience, and it was unimaginable what we've gone through, and I'm sure it's now going to be part of who I am. It's part of who I am right now. But right now, what I need is to take a step back, take care of myself, take a vacation, travel, write. I believe after this kind of rehab to myself, I believe I will have something to give back to the world. I think I have something to give. I had no textbook when October 7th happened. No textbook to how to be a brother of a hostage, and I believe with this experience I can actually give something to the world.
You already have given so much. You already have given so much. Don't sell yourself short.
Thank you.
Look, there's not that many people that can address the UN and speak as powerfully as you did. And by the way, I think also it's worth considering. I just want to note that there's a big camp that doesn't want to empower Hamas propaganda, and I agree with that camp largely. But if you look at the facts on the ground and you look at how your family successfully promoted that picture and your brother's video to actually bring attention and pressure, I'm not sure that a hostage deal gets done without that video. It sounds a
Maybe.
little backwards, but I'm not sure that it does, because it was so insane. It was so crazy. He was literally digging his own grave, and it really brought the lack of humanity to the forefront. So I think that people who are being honest about evaluating tactics and strategy and how things are used in the media really have to take a look at how your family so successfully pushed that video. It really did make a difference, and it's worth reevaluating some of the conceptions.
Thank you. We really tried to stay smart. I mean, from again, since day one, we tried to put our feelings aside, take care of ourselves, because we had to take care of ourselves. But when you fight this war, you have to be really, really smart. You have to be with strategy. So you can do whatever you want. You cannot be impulsive. You have to be patient, which is very counterintuitive, to be patient in this situation. And also, I think it's also a question of energy. When you go to protest, to yell, to be angry at somebody, to blame someone, for me, it's a very draining position. And I needed every ounce of strength to keep going. So I know that if I will go to this very aggressive way, I will be drained really, really quickly. And my brother needs me. So I cannot be drained. I think that's a very big part of this.
What was the craziest bit of news you had to give your brother once everything calmed down? Like, is he a big sports fan? Does he like certain... I mean, first of all, the concept that now Trump is the president again, but I'm sure he heard that when he was in captivity. But what was the craziest... I just can't imagine being out of it for 2 years. Like, what was the craziest thing you had to tell him?
Wow, he was so sensitive. When he was there, he kind of like spoke with us. He had his conversation with us, with my sister, with myself, with my father, with my mom. And he kind of knew things about us. It's crazy. Wow, the fact that like famous figures in Israel, that he couldn't believe that we'll be a couple, and now couple, it blew his mind, really blew his mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm a big... I just can't imagine just sports or anything like that, or you see the different hostages with big singers and stuff. I just don't know if all of a sudden it's crazy. I mean, now your brother probably can't go outside without being recognized by everyone. So
there is something. There's a very unique band, Avenged Sevenfold. If you know them, Evyatar
I saw the video of him playing. Right.
Yes, so he's a huge fan, and also Guy. Both, they are huge fans. They play their music and everything, and they were really great friends to us. They did an amazing event on Evyatar's birthday, and they sent they sent a video to Evyatar and Guy right after they got released, and they sent them a guitar, like the same guitar as the guitarist of Avenged Sevenfold.
Wow.
And it also blew their mind. I mean, it's amazing to see all of those people now. Their love is so strong, and they are part of who we are now, and they are part of our way and our journey. And it's amazing to see. It's so moving, and it gives me hope. It really inspires me.
Well, you give everyone hope. Your brother gives everyone hope. Your family gives everyone hope. But again, this being the third time on the podcast, and we've gotten together a bunch of times, and it's just from all of this crazy stuff, I feel very blessed to have met you, and I really commend what you've done for your brother and for all of the hostages. And you look so much better.
Thank you.
And it's just, I'm so happy for you guys. So thanks for coming on. And I'm glad that you're Ilay David, just a guy from Israel now. And I hope you get a little bit of rest. And I look forward to seeing what you continue to do to help Israel, because you're great at it. So I really appreciate you taking the time.
And thank you, Daniel. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
We'll see you soon. Come to Miami anytime.